welcome to the podcast, Can You Take My Shift? Your favorite coworkers are off the clock and back for another episode. Oh, you want me to do the intro?
Yeah.
Oh, sure, Kelsey. Do the intro every week. Kelsey, whenever you're ready, do the intro. I'm Amy. I never have to do the intro because I don't think I'm good at it. You're so much better at it. Really, Amy? Really, Amy? That's how you're going to do me every week? You're going to do that feigned, weaponized incompetence? That's the word. Yeah, I know words. I know things because I do this intro every single week. And you know what? If you weren't my sister, I would kick your ass.
I, for a minute, wasn't sure if you were joking or not. I was like, oh my god. But also, you never do the outro. That's how it works.
Oh, shit. She got me there.
I
Well,
did.
welcome back to the podcast. How are you, friends? I know I usually sing the podcast or I play a musical instrument, but I decided no. We're going to set the different tune. This is going to be a yelling podcast. We're just going to yell at each other.
We've said that sibling rivalry.
Absolutely. Like, I mean, siblings, they do fight all the time. At least me and my sister. Okay, but first of all, if you have a sibling and you never fight with your sibling, I don't trust you. Like, I don't trust you at all. Like, I think you're a psychopath because, like, siblings are put on this earth to fight with each other. Like,
You know?
I fight with my sister all the time. And, like, okay, one argument can be made for, like, oh, there's such a big age difference between us. So, I used to fight with my 60-year-old coworker.
Yeah.
You couldn't fight with anybody any age. I mean, like, different types of fights. Like,
Maybe don't like fight a baby. Please don't fight babies. We don't condone that here.
You go to your baby sibling, fuck you.
God,
You get all mom's attention.
God, you're so loud.
Yeah. Oh, I hate you. I mean, like, little kids, though, will, like, fight with their baby siblings.
Little kids, though, are just mean up to, like, a certain age.
Oh, yeah.
They got no filter. It's like, okay.
No. They're like, I hate you. Why did you bring this thing home?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, see, like, Amy and I, we are the younger siblings, so we never had that. We were the ones brought home.
Yep. Never had to deal with... I mean, I saw other babies. Like, I had, like, younger cousins, but I was like, okay.
Okay, well, that's my cousin. That's fine.
Yeah.
No, I think because pictures of me, because like my sister and I are only a year apart. So when I was brought home, my sister fully didn't realize it. She just thought it was a doll. But like she's a year old. Like what was she? You can't prepare a 1-year-old child to get a sibling. Like when there's a bigger age difference, you can like try to prepare them for a sibling.
Yeah.
But no, when they're one, they're just like, that thing is here.
They like poke it. They're
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what this is. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this.
Yeah. Like 1-year-old kids are like when an animal gets a new baby in the house. What the fuck is this? What did you bring home? You telling me that nice giant bed is not for me with the bars? So you would leave me alone?
I mean, I have to share everything now? Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Not cool.
Or the cats that like those little like those seats that like rock the babies to sleep?
Oh yeah, those are cool.
And the cats are like, what are you talking about? This isn't mine.
I would love one of those. Do they make adult ones? That just seems really nice.
I mean, they have massage chairs.
No. I don't think that's like quite the same thing. I would like just the gentle motion.
The gentle motion. I mean,
Yeah.
because the thing about it, like babies, like they can fit in that thing until they're like 10 pounds. So it would have to have some like real nice hydraulics.
It'd be like a roller coaster.
Exactly.
Be, like, engineered properly.
Yeah, because those things, yeah, they're fitting a 10-pound weight. But like if you're over like 100 pounds, which almost everybody is, it literally, yeah, you would have to have way more mechanics than the just a
Okay.
Why did that make you laugh?
I don't know. My dream has
So
been
what are
crushed.
yeah, what are we talking about? I don't know. I mean, Amy and I have been busy. We did not usually the podcast should have been last week. But Amy has had a lot going on at work. She's had to explain things to men, so you could imagine the stress she's under.
You can imagine how I feel.
Yeah. And I, drum roll please, got a new job. How many times are we going to say
Woo!
this on the podcast?
It's been at least 4, I think.
Yeah. So I got a new job. Same industry, different firm. It's a lot better. There's no men at my firm. I don't know. I don't know why I beat around the bush about it. So I work in law, like the legal sector.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Before it was like executives. No, I worked for lawyers, and I still work for lawyers. Like, there's nothing wrong with saying that.
Mm-hmm.
But I was working for a law firm that started off good and then just declined into a dumpster fire. Um, the true like when one of the partners leaves the firm, the firm is just going under.
Yeah.
So I moved to a new firm, more money and no men, and like
That's
honestly,
all
and
you
a nice.
really need.
Oh, it was really neat. A nicer building too. I was like, so they don't have a lunchroom. Because it's like half the size of my old firm. So they're like, oh, you can just sit in one of the empty offices. So I toddle the office, and there's just like a beautiful view of like downtown. I see
Hmm.
the water and the mountains, and I was like, this is so nice. I feel like, and I was in like this big office, and I'm like, I just I'm a lawyer. Typey. I object.
I
I'm not
use
a lawyer.
legal jargon in everyday
Every day.
life.
Yeah. So yeah, so I'm the office manager there at this firm, and I've been there. I started this week. So far it's been so far so good. It thankfully no raging misogynists because they're all women. So that's real nice.
Yeah, we love to see it.
Yeah, no one's gonna tell me, well, actually no. Um Other people may say women are stupid. Um Oh my god. I have a story that I want to tell, but I can't tell due to legal reasons. And this is the part that makes me so mad.
Oh, move on. Move on.
Yeah. Damn it, it's so funny too, but that's the legal sector for you. So every time I wear though pink to work, I'm like, I'm Elwood's doody 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 doo. But then like I wear Doc Martens because I keep thinking it's gonna snow. So I'm not fully Elwood's.
That's fair. Not quite there yet. Maybe in the spring.
Maybe in the spring I'll get some nice pink heels. But honestly, like I think a lot of people. I was talking to my coworker about this. Like, I used to wear heels almost every day,
Mm-hmm.
and then after like the pandemic, I cannot be bothered. My feet are not trained for it. Anytime we go out and I wear heels, I am dying.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I can't be bothered anymore. Like, it's fine. I don't need to be tall.
Yeah.
I can be the short little talking animal sidekick.
You just extrude tall energy. That's all you need to do
Exactly.
anyway.
Yeah, because we all know this. If I was too tall, I would be absolutely terrifying.
Yes. It'd be a lot.
Yeah, I would be a lot to handle. Or though maybe if I was been tall all my life, I wouldn't have a complex.
I don't know. I think you would.
Anyways, okay. Well, so that's what's going on with work.
Mhm.
I don't have to deal with men, and Amy still does. But it's fine.
You know, we do what we can.
We do what we can. And we actually had I think the most no, that's not true. We had like a bunch of men in our house the other night.
Oh, yeah, just
Yes.
our roommates had people over.
Our roommates had people over, and I was like, there's a lot of men in this living room. I don't like it.
Too many. Get
Too
them out of
many.
here.
So Amy and I are like, well, Amy and we're coming home from the bus, and we're like, we're gonna watch a movie. And then we get home, and there's just like a bunch of men in our living room playing video games, and we're like, okay, why don't we we'll go watch a movie in my room because I have a TV in my room. So we come up there, and then we're sitting on the bed, and Arya just weasels her way in. We're like, yeah, you don't want to spend time with the men downstairs either.
No.
And so we decided to watch. a film. In the words of Harry Styles, it was a movie.
It was a movie.
And Amy, what Canadian film did you sign up for a free trial of so we could watch, listen, learn, and just enjoy?
So I signed up for a free trial of Family Channel. And the reason I did this is because news came out, I believe, as of yesterday, February 22nd. We're filming this on the 23rd. News broke that Teletoon, one of the very popular children's networks in Canada, is no longer on air. It's gone and it's being rebranded just to Cartoon Network Canada, which broke my heart to hear.
It really did.
I was like, I didn't think I would outlive a TV channel, but here we are. Like, I thought Teletoon would be like CBC or CTV,
Yeah.
like it was such a Canadian staple because like growing up we had Teletoon and then we had Family Channel. And Family Channel was mainly all like the Disney shows plus a couple Canadian TV shows. And then Teletoon was mainly Canadian cartoons and then it got Cartoon Network. And yeah, that was all it got. Oh, I'm missing YTV.
Yeah, we're YTV. The big four Canadian were YTV, Teletoon, Family Channel, and Treehouse.
Right. Oh my god, I forgot about Treehouse. Treehouse is still around.
I think so.
I think it's still around. YTV is still around because that's owned by Global CTV, like one of those. It's owned by that one, so that one's never gonna go away. I don't think. If that one goes away, I will also be like very upset. But Teletoon, I loved Teletoon. I mean, I loved Family Channel, and so I bought a free trial to Family Channel, by the way, which I did cancel today. Immediately right after. But it's good till the end of the month, so if you want to watch anything else, go ahead.
How are you gonna watch the latest Buzz?
I have till the end of the month. Maybe I'll just put it on tomorrow. I'm at work. Okay. But we decided to watch Life with Luca, which is a Canadian. It's not a reboot. It's like it's kind of a reboot, but it's more of a continuation of the TV show Life with Derek. And for anybody who doesn't know, which honestly, if you are anywhere between Kelsey and I's age, you should know this show. Like even like Americans know this show too. It was essentially like the Canadian version of the Brady Bunch. And it was like a blended family who came together, and the older brother Derek and the older sister Casey didn't get along, but they had really weird sexual tension, which as a kid, no one really noticed. But in the past couple years, if you see clips of it on TikTok, or if you just like, I don't know, like rewatch an episode, maybe you have a younger sibling and Life of Derek was on TV. It was weird tension, like so uncomfortable. So, yeah, we decided to watch the reboot because after hearing about Teletoon, the Life of Luca movie I think came out 2 days ago.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and so we were like, I mean, why not? It's the end of a Canadian era for television, but it's not the end of an era for this Canadian icon TV show.
Oh boy.
And we are here to do a review of it. Yeah.
Okay, so Life with Derek was actually one. So Family Channel. So with Canadian TV programming, they have to air a certain amount of Canadian programming.
Yes.
Because we get a lot of American television.
Yes.
But we have to have a certain amount due to Canadian laws. So Family Channel would pop out a show, and it would kind of do crappy. And so, because like Family Channel got all the Disney shows, so the prime time spots, like Hannah Montana, Zach and Cody, they got the prime time spots. But Family Channel still had to pump out Canadian shows, and they would get like that 10 p.m. spot, when no kid was
Yeah.
actually awake.
Or they'd
So,
get like the 4:30 slot where like no one's home from school yet.
so they would get these weird slots, and because they would pump out these ones, like we're like, and they some were better than others, but some were just like were one season flops.
Yes.
But Life with Derek is arguably one of their most successful ones. It got
Yes.
3 seasons, a movie after the third season, and then this is the second movie that is a reboot ish continuation of the story. Um, and the big scene that everyone talks about, because yeah, they have this weird sexual tension and it ends with Derek, you are the most annoying brother, step brother.
And it's such an awkward pause, and there is tension for some
Like,
reason.
okay, so I titled my title, "Oh no, step bro, our network has been sold," and Amy's like, "I don't get it." And so the thing is, if you partake in watching adult videos on the interwebs, um, there is a lot of adult videos about step siblings.
Which is really gross to me, but okay.
Yeah, which is really gross. Amy, you have step siblings. I do not. But I think it's gross. But that is a very large area of people that enjoy that. So like the Brady Bunch, I think there's two different versions of the Brady Bunch. There's the one people joke about, like, sure, the Sure Jan meme.
Oh, yeah. And Marsha,
Yeah,
Marsha,
so
Marsha.
I think that's the newer Brady Bunch. There was an even older one.
Yeah.
There's a scene in that movie where like her brother is like watching her, like they have like a curtain divider and he's watching her strip, and they totally play into it. But like this show was made for kids. I know it's gross. Yeah,
No,
it's
thank
gross.
you. No, thank you.
Um, but like, cause like shows have come out about blended families, and like even the movie like Yours, Mine, and Ours, there was like a weird sexual tension between two of the older siblings.
Yeah, and I mean, if you think about Clueless, the movie
Mhm.
with like Paul Rudd and I can't remember the woman's name.
Oh, Alicia Silverstone.
Yeah.
They actually talk.
Yeah. And that's step siblings.
Yeah, that is step sibling.
Yeah.
So, like it's one of those things where it's not illegal, but it feels like it is.
Yeah. It's not technically wrong, but
Yeah,
gives me
yeah,
the chills. No.
like yeah. But it's one of those things. Like I consider Amy my sister. I would never make out with Amy. That's
No
just
thanks.
oh, that's weird.
It's weird.
Weird. It feels weird. Like it feels wrong. Like it's not right.
Yeah.
And we are both gay and we both love women.
Yeah.
But like it's just wrong. And
No.
that's what the step siblings is. It's just wrong.
Yeah, there was a clip that I came across on TikTok, like I think like last week, of Life with Derek, and it's the one where Casey pretends or like tries to be punk, like she's going out with that guy. I
Mhm.
literally don't know his name at all, but
Oh yeah. We
he
we forgot what the youngest son's name was
yeah.
watching the movie.
Yeah, he's like a punk, and so then Casey dresses like it, and like Derek comes home and is like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "What? Do you not like how I dress?" And it's like slows down, and he like looks at her for like a little too long, and he's like, and I'm like, "Stop. I hate this. I hate everything about this."
Yeah. And it's like
It's so weird.
it's so weird. And then there's an episode where she starts dating so the kids are so Derek and Casey are the same age. And that's also
Yes.
very important that they're the same age. And then they have Edwin, who's an and then they have Lizzie, and then they have, is it Marty?
Yeah, Marty.
Yeah. And then they have Simon, who we 100% forgot about.
Oh yeah, but like Simon's part of like the movie lore, so like
Yeah.
does he like
No.
he doesn't really matter.
No.
Sorry, Simon.
Uh, Simon's like the oopsie baby they get pregnant with in the last episode. Not Derek and Casey, the parents.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, the parents here. But there's an episode where Lizzie, her younger sister, she starts dating Lizzie's soccer coach, and then Derek finds out that the soccer coach is hooking up with all the other
Oh yes.
older
Yeah.
sisters.
Yeah.
So like he breaks them up, and he's like, "It's not my." He's like, "She's my sister," but I'm like, it just feels weird. Like he's jealous,
Yeah.
and
It
he's like
feels
protecting
wrong.
her, but not in a brotherly way.
Yeah. It like look, I've talked about this a lot. I love a good enemies to lovers trope, but not like this.
Not when they're step siblings.
Not when they're step siblings. I
Oh,
remember like the show ended. I thought the show had way more seasons. It only has 3.
mhm.
It's 3 and then a movie and now the spin-off. And I remember there was like rumors going around, and it might have been confirmed by the guy who played Derek, but I'm not 100% sure, and I'm not going to look it up. Just not going to do my due diligence research here. But I remember there being rumors that they were going to try to reboot Life with Derek a lot earlier, but the way that they pitched it to the network is that Derek and Casey actually got together. And that's how they were going to open the show.
No.
Yeah, so I want to believe that that was that was a rumor, but I don't know. And I'm okay with not knowing. I'm okay not having that in my Google search history.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Because even sometimes when you're like, just looking up something, wholesomely.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, I was like, "Oh, I need to buy a webcam for my PC." So I just Googled webcam. Dumb idea.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't
Um,
don't put that in Google.
just go straight to Amazon or
Yeah.
Best Buy, and then search there.
Yeah.
So we watched this movie because we thought it was going to be a series
Yeah.
because a lot of places said it was going to be a reboot series, and we're like, okay, that makes sense. Everything, like, so many shows are getting rebooted because there's no new ideas, and Hollywood is just like preying off nostalgia because they know it's an easy buck,
Yeah.
and they know, like, they don't, it doesn't have to be good, but we'll still watch it.
Yep. Cheap to produce.
Yeah. So we sat down, um but to watch the movie. And where's my notepad? So last time when Amy and I watched something for the podcast, that was Lula Rich, and Amy diligently took notes.
Good.
I took notes. I don't know, but like it's a lot of long and doesn't make a lot of sense. Um
I'll try to help piece it together.
okay. So we
Yeah.
start the movie. So first thing that goes up. So when you're watching a movie and the little thing will be like Los Angeles, California, and it'll like tell you where the setting is, and we're like, okay, that makes sense. But then it starts with Paris, 8:30. We're like, why is it telling us? And this is the thing through the whole movie. It tells us the specific time
Yeah.
with the setting.
Yeah, because the movie starts off in Paris, France at like 8 o'clock at night, and you see this girl trying to sneak into a nightclub. And later on, we find out that Derek is a rock star. Like, he has a band, he's very famous. And it was his daughter who was trying to sneak into his own rock concert, which I also felt very odd about.
Yeah, we have, and then this is Montreal, lol, not France, because they're supposed to be in Paris, yet they all have very French. Okay, there is a difference between a Parisian accent
Yeah.
and the French Canadian accent.
And the way that they spoke French too was very French Canadian, because if you go to France, they will use so much slang that it's insane. But if you go to Montreal, if you go to Quebec, it's they use slang too, but they use different slang and
Mhm.
it's more proper. Like there's a really big joke where if you go to Quebec, the stop signs will say arrête. I pronounce it horrendously, but that means stop in French. If you go to Paris, the stop signs say stop. Because like they just don't care enough.
Yeah.
So it was very
And
odd.
how you can also tell that it's definitely not Paris. Well, I mean, of course they didn't have the budget for that, but people were not mean enough. Like when she is pushing through the crowds trying to run away from her dad in Paris, you literally would be slapped across the face. They don't care that you're 14.
Yeah. Also, she probably could have snuck in. I don't think anyone in
Oh my god,
France would care.
nobody in France would care. They'd be like, "You have a cigarette?"
Yeah.
No? Okay, go away.
Yeah.
Like they don't give a shit.
No. So
Yeah.
it was very funny.
And then we move. So that's how we're introduced to Derek. So Derek's got a daughter,
Mhm.
and Derek's a rock star in France.
Mhm.
And then how we're introduced to Casey is her son is about to do like a BMX trick.
Yeah, like a
At,
stunt.
yeah, stunt. And then she comes up in her minivan, her Dodge Caravan, with her two other kids in the back, and she's yelling no, and then he falls and she goes, my poor baby, and she's coming from court. So Amy goes, oh, she's a judge. And this is where I had to explain to Amy, in Canada lawyers have to wear these robes to court.
I
So
don't.
it's like, no, of course you wouldn't know. The only reason I know this is because I work in law.
Yeah.
So you have to wear these weird black and white robes to work. So like when you go downtown around the courthouse, it just looks like a bunch of wizards.
I love that.
Because in Canada, the reason why lawyers wear the robes to court is because it puts them on an equal playing field. So, like, if you're going up wearing your like Reitman suit against somebody in an Armani suit, there's no like feeling of superiority.
Yeah, which I like.
So,
I like that.
yeah. So she wasn't a judge. She was just in her robes, and lawyers look like wizards in Canada. Um,
Another reason to doubt that Canada is a real country.
yeah, exactly. And then she mentions her husband is in Europe playing hockey when he should have retired, which that tracks for Casey because in season 2, so I remember the seasons by her boyfriends. Season 1, she didn't really have a set boyfriend. She had a thing with like a couple guys.
Yeah.
Season 2 was Max, who is a Robbie Amal's brother,
Yes.
Arrow's brother. Yeah. He's the football player, so she's always had a thing for jocks. And then season 3 is the shitty dude.
Yeah, you don't remember his name.
I
You
think
know,
his name
you remember more Life with Derek lore than I do.
Okay, but that's the thing about me is I am like my special interest is movie and TV trivia.
Yeah.
Like, don't ask me anything about music at
No.
all. Unless it's like a number one song, I don't know it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. But I know movies and TV. So that definitely tracks that she married an athlete because she liked her himbos.
He did.
She did. She liked him beefy and she liked him dumb. And like, I get it. She's a very controlling person. She needs someone who's just like, yes, my wife. And then she talks about him like when he's home, he does all the cooking and the cleaning, so she can like do all the lawyering. And I was like, makes sense for her.
Yeah, love
Yeah.
her, love her girl bossing.
I found Derek's story weird. So Derek's a single dad because him and his wife, his ex-wife, are divorced, and she's got a new family with a new baby. But that's all that's said about it. And I
Yeah.
was like, that seems kind of weird that like he would have full custody over his daughter.
Yeah, I don't know. It definitely was like a strange thing that they just kind of like glossed over, so I didn't try very hard to think about it.
No, that's fair. I mean, like for me, that's what I was thinking. But like
Casey.
Casey's family made like very much made sense.
Yeah. I mean, it makes
For her
sense that like
character.
Derek would be divorced, like to me
Oh, that made sense.
that made sense. I was like, okay, sure. And I guess maybe his daughter, or maybe he doesn't have full custody, but the daughter likes to hang out with the dad more. So she just does, and the mom is like not
Well,
willing to
no, he
fight
would
her
have to
on
have
it.
full custody because she said her mom pretends like she doesn't exist. She literally doesn't go to school. She's tutored by the roadie.
Oh,
They travel the world together. So
I
like for me, I don't know. Um so we have that. Maybe the times are important. We have a note here. The angst is not believable.
yeah, so one thing they tried to set up pretty fast is essentially how the movie plays out is Derek is trying to like punish his daughter because she snuck into his concert, and
Mhm.
what he does to punish her is plans a trip to go back home to visit her grandparents, which are obviously Derek and Casey's mom and dad, Nora and George. And so they get on a flight, and then Casey at the same time decides to also go visit her parents because they want to do this like house warmiversary party, and they try to make like a whole family thing, and like Derek's daughter really doesn't want to go. And so her obviously she has like teenage angst, and it's just awful. Like I feel like she was they tried to make Derek's daughter like Casey, and then they tried to make Casey's son like Derek. So it felt very much like they didn't get to play their own characters. Like they were
Mhm.
falling too much into these tropes because Casey is a bit of a helicopter mom and her son doesn't like that. Whereas Derek's daughter has to, we learn that she does a lot of the cleaning. She's learning like four languages and like does all this stuff like for her dad, which is
Mhm.
like really ridiculous.
But I mean, honestly, that is kind of what happens with those parenting styles.
Yes.
Like like they always say if you raise your kids, you can have fun with your grandchildren. If you have fun with your kids, you end up raising your grandchildren.
Yeah.
And like usually with those parents who try to be like their kid's friend, those are like the kids who have to like do a lot of raising their parent. Meanwhile, if you're super like I've always said this, like super overprotective parents just raise the best liars.
Yeah.
They
Exactly.
truly do. Like my parents were on the overprotective side. And why do you think I'm so good at acting? Because I learned how it's terrible. It's an absolutely terrible thing to say, but I learned how to lie from a very early age.
Yeah.
Now, it's not a thing I'm proud of, but it is a thing.
Yeah. That's fair. But yeah, the angst was it was a lot. Like when the kids finally got to see each other, they all end up, this was another weird thing, is the movie essentially like three storylines going on at once. So we had everything going on with Derek and his daughter, we had everything going on with Casey, her older son, and then the two younger ones. And then for
Yeah.
some reason, George and Nora decided to take off to some relative's 60th birthday because they didn't get enough notice that Derek and Casey were coming to visit. So they're like, we're going to go to this other family's birthday party instead. Even
And
though George didn't want to go, and it was literally said in the movie, he would do, like, over his dead body, he would go to this.
and there's a giant banner that goes still sexy at 60.
Yeah, they go to this like relative's birthday and it literally says, yeah, like still sexy at 60. And that felt weird, especially since this is a family movie.
The fact that they won't say some things, but then they have a giant sign that says still sexy at 60, like it did there was this movie did not make a lot of sense.
No, it was odd. Like there was a whole thing about how Casey's kids weren't allowed to swear, so there was a lot of use of the word heck,
Mhm.
and like I don't even think they said shoot. Oh, like ship. That was another one
Yeah.
they used. There was all sorts of weird swear words, like pretend swear words being used instead, and I was like, honestly, you can just like maybe, I don't think that really needs to be like a plot point, but okay, here we
But
are.
yeah. And then one thing that happened, so this is a weird thing, but I hate FaceTime in movies so much because it's so like unrealistic. And they're always like, hey man, I gotta go. Like, oh yeah, da 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 da. And you like when I'm on FaceTime, I'm like, hey. or it's like on my desk. What are you doing? I never walk around and FaceTime outside because I don't have Wi-Fi and I'm not using all of my data to FaceTime. And like, how much data do these kids I don't know. I just like hate FaceTime in movies. It's like
It's
one of my big pet peeves.
it's definitely a modern thing because if you think
Mhm.
about it, I think more people now FaceTime than they make phone calls for the most part, just because it seems more convenient to people. Even though I find it really weird when I see people on the bus without a headphone taking FaceTime calls, and I'm like, how do you
Oh,
like
I
how
hate
do you
that so much.
how do you hear anything? And also, it's the bus; it's loud. Like I've been on the phone on the bus, and people are like, "Where are you?"
Yeah.
But it's
Oh, I'm like, how
definitely
do you
like a
live with yourself?
yeah, like that's definitely like a generational thing. And obviously we know the FaceTime's not real
Mhm.
because it doesn't have the little box in the corner of the other person. And obviously they
Yeah.
can't do that in a movie because it would like ruin the continuity or like the
Mhm.
shots. So I get it, but yes, it is strange.
But the whole movie, right? So the acting in this movie and the writing in this movie is so disjointed, and the acting's not great. From really like I'm sorry, the two main kids, their dialogue, like, okay, we didn't want them to have sexual chemistry, obviously,
Yeah.
because they were both the same age, and they're trying to make them in Casey and Derek. So, and then, but like, they just had like it felt like two strangers reading a script. Like
It did.
it was so disjointed. Yeah, and then like we also get a weird. So remember we had said Simon. So Nora and George get pregnant with Simon on like the last episode of Life with Derek. And then Simon pops up, and Amy and I are like, "Who the fuck is Simon?" We're like,
Yeah.
"Oh!" And then they go, "Oh, it's mom and dad's oopsie baby." And they're like, "All right, yes, yes, that did happen."
Right? And
Simon is in vacation with Derek.
yep, as a baby.
Yeah.
And in this reboot, he's like a delinquent that's about to get kicked out of college because he's like the baby and mom and dad think he can do no wrong,
Mhm.
even though he's honestly kind of a piece of shit.
Oh, he's such a piece of shit.
He's
He's
not a
like
very likable character in the movie.
he's obsessed with like he's like the vegan hot chick. There's this weird like his subplot where he's like obsessed with this vegan girl, and then they're drinking kombucha that is bright blue that looks like Gatorade or Kool-Aid. Like we're like, what are they drinking? And he's like, it's kombucha. And I was like, first of all, as an avid kombucha drinker myself, that is blue water. Like that is food coloring. That is not kombucha. Kombucha has cultures in it. Kombucha is not see through. It is gritty.
Yeah. It has grit to it. You
It
can
has
chew
grit
it.
to it. Yeah. So the fact that like that's kombucha, and I was like, you have never seen kombucha in your entire life, have you?
Yeah. And like his acting wasn't great either. Like again, he was putting on this like over the top character.
Mhm.
And one thing we noticed was also, I think it came down to the writing in this movie was also not great because
No.
it didn't feel like it was written to be a movie. I feel like it was definitely written to be a TV show, and they were told you can have a movie or you can have nothing. And I think
Mhm.
that's why there were so many little subplots because they were like, okay, how do we condense this into one thing?
Oh, I do believe that too. Because they even tried doing, we talked about this where in movies, no, sorry, not movies, in TV shows, they have the little transitions. Like in Hannah Montana, it would be a picture of the house and it would go, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah. And like in Life with Derek, it would show like it would slide in a house and then like three smaller ones and you'd have the guitar like they did that in this movie without the guitar, but there was a couple scenes where I think one of them was so essentially going back to the George Norris subplot a little bit. They decide to leave the family birthday party after like buying this flight and they rent a car to drive from the States back up to Canada because they're close enough to the border, you can do that.
Mhm.
And there's this like weird scene where it's like Canadian border and then it like cuts the screen in half and it shows them driving. And I'm like, what is the point of this? Like we know as watchers they're going to the border.
Like it was so weird. Like there's one where we have, oh my goodness, it's later on. Okay, gratuitous cow shot.
Yeah, they just had a shot of like cows at one point because they're trying to like remind us that they're in the countryside.
But we know this.
Yeah. Like it all was just very odd. And then they also decided to, on top of the George and Norris subplot, have them be chased by a jewel thief because they got in the wrong rental car. They got
Oh,
in a car that was owned by a jewel thief.
yeah.
Like
Why?
there was too much going on. And like even at one point as we were going through the movie and we got close to the end, we forgot that there was a jewel thief.
Oh yeah, we totally forgot about him.
Yeah. And he shows up like near the end and it's just like, oh right, we still have to wrap up that subplot.
Oh yeah, and then the kids went to jail at one point, and then of course, Casey was having a bath. She leaves the bath water running. It's not like we haven't seen this before. They
Yeah.
get home. Oh no, the ceiling's dripping. And then we're like, okay, what happens with this? What does the jewel thief do? So he goes into the bathroom to hide, and I go, watch, he's gonna fall through the floor. So he goes through the floor, but just his legs do. And what do we go? And he was holding his jewels, and he goes, "Oh no, my jewels!" And I was like, "This is the lowest hanging fruit."
Who what kind of jewel thief would yell, "My jewels"?
Because it's a ball joke, right?
Yes.
Yes. I
Oh,
wasn't sure.
actually, okay, I
I,
didn't
I
get
wasn't
that.
sure if you got that.
Nope. Okay.
The family jewels.
Light bulb. I get it now. Okay. Wow. That took a whole day to connect.
Oh my god,
Look, I know I had a drink with the movie, but like not that much.
no. But yeah, like this.
Okay, that makes way more sense now. I'll let it go. That's fine. we
Oh my
can.
god, I can't believe you didn't understand that joke. I know that was like the lowest hanging fruit. Okay,
I'm
it's fine.
gay. Why would I?
Gay people can know ball jokes, Amy. Oh,
No.
so but my last after I go lol, I go my jewels. Then they sing the song that we forgot about.
Oh, yes. There is a episode in the original Life with Derek where Derek wants to start a band and I don't think they're having much success. They need a singer.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
so then Casey joins, but it's like, I'm only doing this if we sing the song the way I want it to be sang. And it's this like slow love ballad.
yeah,
And then everyone ends up hating it. And then they do like a different like rock version of it. It's a very cheesy song. But like
yeah.
as soon as the song came on in the movie, we were like, yes, we know this.
Yeah, it unlocked like back in our brains here because it's like it literally is. You said it was over, but it was not over. You said it was, and literally she repeats it, and we're like, "Fuck, we remember this. Like
Yeah.
this was hidden back there, but of course we
Yeah.
remember this
Na
because
na
they
na
have
na na na.
because they do have their little like family like because it was George and Nora's anniversary party. So they
Yes.
managed to pull it together. The weird subplot. Oh, we also forgot about that the Simon takes the car to go to a concert. So then the teenagers hide in the back.
Oh,
And then the
yes.
car runs out of gas. And then Simon leaves the car. And then the teenagers leave the car and they don't have their phones. And then the one teenager falls down a mountain and has a ridiculous amount of blood coming out of her leg.
Yeah, it's because so Simon wants to impress this kombucha girl, or sorry, vegan girl. I mean,
Yeah.
same thing. And he wants to go to this concert with her. And the two cousins, like Luca and
Skylar.
Skylar, they get into a fight. Kind of. It's like not like fight with them. It's like essentially Luca says that Skylar is pretentious, which well, she kind of was.
Oh, literally, she's one of those girls who went to Europe once and will never stop talking about it.
Yeah, like the whole movie kind of revolved around her having this personality of like, oh, I bought my boots in the Netherlands and like I get to travel with my dad and like I got to go to like a music festival and all this stuff. So of course like her cousin's gonna be jealous and like say something kind
Mhm.
of mean. And like at one point too, I think there is they decided to go. They Casey sends the kids orienteering, which
Oh
is
yeah,
like
that was so ridiculous.
so weird, like such a weird like, oh, she's like, we'll have like a bonding moment for all of you, and then Luca takes off and essentially like abandons his younger brother like somewhere in the forest, so then they have to find him.
Mhm.
And so then they call Skylar calls Luca on the phone and starts going off on him in the worst French imaginable.
Oh, it's so bad.
Like
It's so bad.
it was so bad. And I think it just has to do with the fact of like, if you like learn French in Canada, your accent is not going to be good.
No.
Like half the reason, like I took French and I wanted to have a second language, but I was so mortified by my accent that I can't do it. I can say like random words very well because they're like my favorite words. That is it though. So this poor girl is like yelling at her cousin in terribly broken Canadian French, and he's just like, huh?
Huh?
Like he
Okay.
doesn't care.
And like it's so bad. It's like what I sound when I try to read French.
Yeah.
Like it's not good at all.
Yeah.
And then like they have like weird cameos. So like the principal is now a border agent because Derek made him quit his job.
Oh yeah, like
And then
he made him hate school.
yeah. He's like, so people will respect me. And I was like, people don't really respect border agents. Yeah. And then like it okay, so here's the thing. So once the movie was announced, so they have the three younger siblings excluding Simon because he was a baby, he doesn't care.
Yep.
But the actors who play Lizzie and Edwin, they made a TikTok going, I can't believe they made like they're having a family reunion without us because them and Marty are not in the movie.
Yeah.
And there's like
They're not even like really mentioned.
they're not mentioned at all. And I was
Yeah.
like, so because the actress who plays Lizzie, she I think makes music now. She like was on Life with Derek and then Degrassi and then was like big on Tumblr. I think they're pretty big on TikTok. She said she's like releasing music, and then I found out that Edwin is a radio host here in Vancouver.
Which I think is amazing. I love that for him.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, we should find him.
Yeah.
What a radio station.
Yeah.
Um, but they're not even mentioned at all. And then like, oh, like Derek Cedar, who plays Derek. Oh no, his name is Michael Cedar or Derek.
Michael Cedar.
Michael. Yeah, it's like, oh, it was like, unfortunately, we just didn't have time to include them. They could have like made a cameo, but like due to schedule, I don't know. But like, I mean, to be fair, like I don't think they really needed to, they could have added to the story. It would have been nice if they were at the reunion,
Yeah.
but I think you could have added them to the story if like maybe Kate. See, the thing is, like the two younger kids. I feel like okay, so the movie was not good. I'm just gonna say it was not good. It was not good.
I mean,
It
okay,
was.
let's preface though. Like Life with Derek is a TV show. Probably wasn't great.
Oh no, it's probably our nostalgia.
Yeah.
But it did have some good episodes. So if
Yes, of
okay,
course.
here's how what I would have done. If I found out, okay, because they definitely planned for a series, but they only got a movie, and then we were watching the credits, I saw that they got a bunch of Canadian grants. Like they got like the TELUS grant and stuff, and that's for like low budget films. And you could tell it was low budget.
Yeah.
They pretend to have a helicopter, and I'm like, that's 100% like a toy helicopter in the sky.
Yeah.
It was not a real helicopter.
No, it was a lot of the choices for this movie just felt very weird. Also, even the title alone of it being called Life with Luca
Mhm.
did not make sense
No.
because the movie did not really revolve around Luca. Like, honestly, I kind of feel it revolved more around Skylar.
Well, okay, that's it would have it would have made sense because Skylar. Okay, so why they called it that? Because like Luca was supposed to be like Derek, but like if the show was Life with Derek, then if you're going to do like the gender like flip, then it should have been Life with Skylar.
Yeah. And you could have come up with some alliteration name. Like,
Hmm.
I mean, hell, you could have been like, oh, she was born in Europe, so Luca's a gender neutral name. I don't care. It
Yeah.
just felt like the name alone felt misleading because like Luca was like really not a main character. Like honestly, like
No.
none of the characters were main characters because everyone had essentially like the same amount of screen time. There
Hmm.
wasn't like an overarching plot. I think like the overarching plot would have been the fact that Skylar's going back to Canada to like reunite with her family
Hmm.
and like try to build a bond with her cousin that she hasn't seen in forever. And the last couple times it's been not great instances with him. Like,
Hmm.
I grew up with boy cousins. They're not always the nicest.
Oh yeah, my cousin Colin, who are the same age, but he would try and like fart on your face because he thought it was funny.
Oh yeah, like boys are just obviously different breed.
Yes, they are. But like my thing, okay, so if I'm gonna change this movie, what I would do is like the Nick and Nora jewel thief subplot, get rid of that. Not needed at all.
It's not
The
needed at all.
sexy at 60, not needed at all.
No.
No, what it should be is like I do like them all coming for a family reunion.
Yes, that made sense.
That made total sense. That part made total sense. But what I would have done is I would have almost done it kind of like a bottle movie where what I would have done is kind of like so in the life with Derek movie like Vacation with Derek, they go to this like camp to see their grandma.
Yes.
What it would have been better is if so grandma's passed away. They all go back to grandma's house to kind of like clean up, and then maybe they're selling the house, but like the kids don't want them to sell the house. And then I would have given Casey two kids. I wouldn't have given her I wouldn't have given her three kids. I would have cut one of the kids.
Yeah.
Um
I understand they were going for that angle of like overwhelmed parent,
yeah, but
but
you can be overwhelmed with two.
yeah, you really can.
Especially when it's one, like, especially when it's just her. Like, if it's two parents and two kids, then it's like, all right, we each can take one. But when
Yeah.
it's one, and then, so I would have had that. And, like, yeah, she could have still had thing where, like, she's trying to get work done because that made sense. She was
Yeah.
trying to get her work done. And then if it was more contained, and then they could have had Lizzie and Edwin and Marty there and Simon, I guess. Like, I think that would have been better because people watched it for them, and then you have the younger kids fighting, and like I feel like that would have made more sense as a story.
Yeah. I I agree. I think they
Mhm.
were doing too much at once.
Oh God, yeah.
Like it was like, okay, now this is happening. Now this is happening. Okay, now we're cutting to like Derek and Casey having like a weird sibling argument for like no reason at all. Like it's not furthering the plot. Like essentially Casey left it up to Derek to plan the anniversary party, and then it's just like it like that plot like never moves along until the last 20 minutes of the movie,
Hmm.
and it just makes no sense because it's like no, just if he can't like have it be like a one and done situation of him just like messing something up, being like, okay, someone else is gonna organize it now. But because there was like too many little subplots, it was weird. Like Kelsey, you mentioned earlier, there was a moment where Casey went to take a bath in their beautiful clawfoot bathtub. She gets a call that her kids are in jail because of a go-kart incident that was very weird.
Hmm.
And so she, like, the tap didn't turn off when she got out of the bathtub. Which is also kind of strange because there was a scene of her in the bathtub with the tap off. So I don't know, like, she must have, like, hit it or something when she was coming out of the bathtub.
But it also had the overflow thing, so I don't.
Yeah, so it's very odd. I mean,
Yeah.
the overflow thing, like, doesn't always work. I can understand that as, like, a safeguard, like, whatever.
Hmm.
The time that the tub overflowed and then we see the kids at the police station and we talk to the police officer and then the kids get taken out of the police station. Also, this part made me laugh so bad. So the kids are in the police station because essentially they go karting and the youngest son, Casey's youngest son, goes off the track and drives into the street of this small town they're in. And so he goes to the police station and he's like asleep on the couch just because essentially he had a sugar rush and then he crashed. So Casey goes to grab her son out of the police officer's office. And it's like Casey has never grabbed a child before because she's literally like hoisting him out. And it's a scene that honestly went on for like a little too long, but it was so funny because she's just like,
was the funniest part of the movie.
yeah, she's like, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Oh, like dragging this kid along like he's a dead body. And I'm just
absolutely.
like, oh my God. So then from that part to when they go back to the house, there's a whole other scene of dialogue that probably would span, I would say, in like the like movie time, I would say was like a couple hours at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But when they got home, the bathtub wasn't immediately leaking. It took like another like 15 minutes into the movie, and I was like, so are we not going to address the bathtub? Like at one point I was like, why are they not talking about it? And then they talked about it like 5 minutes later and it was just this like small drippy hole, like it somehow the water didn't leave the bathroom at all. It's just this like really small hole. And I was like, have they never seen like a Hollywood movie where like they could have been ridiculous, the water could have come down the stairs? Like I think that would have got the point across a lot better. But I guess like maybe faking water damage in a house is probably not a great idea.
Yeah, it was weird. They tried too much and it was a lot. It was not a good movie. And
No, unfortunately.
I think it also like okay, like the thing is what Life with Derek had is because all of the characters were flawed. They were very flawed. But yet you liked all of them because all of their intent made sense.
Yeah, they
But
were.
like but like with the main characters, Luca and Skylar, neither of them were likable.
No,
You
not.
didn't want to root for either of them.
No, like Luca was a really moody, shitty little teenager, and Skylar was kind of pompous. And I like again, they're trying to emulate like Derek and Casey, but Derek and Casey were still like normal high schoolers who every once in a while would like get made fun of in school. And it felt like when Skylar and Luca would make fun of each other, it was like charged. It was not nice. So that really sucked. And it also was kind of sucky because like Casey's younger kids, like the girl and the boy, they were so sweet and they just wanted to hang out with their cousin. But like Skylar did not care, and also Luca was a shitty older brother.
Oh, such a shitty older brother. You abandoned him in the forest.
Yeah, okay, we all know like Derek was like a shitty brother, but I don't think Derek ever abandoned his siblings in a forest.
But the difference is too is like so Derek was not always the nicest to Edwin, which I get it. You're the older brother, you're the little brother. But he would not but like Edwin was still I think like at least 10 when they started. This kid's still in a booster seat. He's like maybe 6. Like
Yeah.
Derek never would have abandoned Marty.
Yeah, like the whole plot point of like at the beginning of the movie when Luke is doing the BMX trick and Casey comes after him to be like, why are you doing this? It's because he forgot to pick his siblings up from school for like the 5th time.
Yeah.
Because he wants to film these little YouTube videos. And I'm like, the 5th time?
Like it's
Dude.
he's so shitty. And like I don't know. It didn't make sense to me because I don't know. It just like his whole character, like both of their kids did not make sense to me. The two little kids made sense that they were Casey's kids. Like when at one point Casey swears and the little like 6-year-old boy goes, pay up." She's like, "Fair," and she slaps him a toonie. And I was
Yeah.
like, "Yes, That makes sense.
Yeah, like that's how a kid would 100% react. Like that
Yeah.
is normal.
Like, "You swore? Alright, where's my money?"
Yeah.
Um, and that makes sense because, like, her kid would be like, "Alright, mom's, like, all about rules." When they're little, they're like, "Yeah." And then she talks about, "Oh, Luca was my best friend when he was little, he followed me everywhere." And, like, well, yeah, he's a teenager, he's rebelling, but this just seems weird.
Yeah, it was a little too rebellious. I think
Yeah.
they
But he also had poor rich kid syndrome, though.
yeah. So again, these characters that got like really tropey just became so unlikable. Like I
Mhm.
feel really bad. Like I know this is a movie made for like like children, and I'm sure there's gonna be kids that enjoy it. So maybe I'm like maybe we're being like a little too critical, but
Okay,
like
know why I'm not gonna be too critical, because things can be made for children and they can be made fantastically well.
yes,
Avatar: The Last Airbender, The Legend of Korra. Hell, I rewatched Shrek like last week, and that movie is still
yeah,
fantastic.
Shrek is
Like,
good.
all made for children, but still tell full stories with likable characters, like How to Train Your Dragon. Like,
So good.
so good. These are all made for children. So I
Yeah,
don't believe that just because something's made for children means it can kind of suck and it can kind of slack. And I think that unfortunately happens more with live action than it does with cartoon,
yeah,
because I feel like there's definitely way more passion in from the writers and the animators in children's cartoons to tell better stories than with live action stuff. Like,
yeah.
I mean, there's obviously better live action shows for kids than like, I mean, I like I mean, we were like the Hannah Montana generation, but like Hannah Montana was actually quite, like, rewatching it back, it actually ages pretty well.
Yeah, same with like Wizards of Waverly Place,
Mhm.
um, Sweet Life, somewhat, like
Somewhat.
somewhat.
Sunny with a Chance does not age well at all.
No.
But like Wizards is really good because that one, like, all the characters, like, even the what you like, Alex was kind of a huge asshole, but
Yeah,
she made you want to root for her because she did have a lot, but that is what a well-written character looks like.
yeah. She was flawed a lot, but she was always there for her family. Like at the end of the
Mhm.
day, and her family was
Yeah.
there for her. And they addressed like the Wizards of Waverly Place movie. Like kind of makes me cry
Mhm.
because like it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
I've
I hate that excuse. Oh, it's made for children. No, you can write something well that's made for children.
This is true. Okay, never mind. I take that back. Especially as somebody who watches a lot of kids cartoons, I've actually been watching the Proud Family reboot,
Mhm.
and it's very good.
Oh, that's good to hear.
I would like 1,000 out of 10. I mean, I think I've only seen like 3 episodes, but essentially the show starts and it's Penny essentially has like gone through puberty, and so they like address it. And they go through and like they reintroduce you to the characters you already know, and then there's a couple new ones, and then they even address like Sticky has moved, so he's not in the show, but there's like 2 new characters,
Yeah.
and they do a really good job of like just like handling topics. Like they did one about influencers, they did one about I think the last one I just watched was the 2 new characters, they have 2 dads,
Mhm.
and so that's like a whole talking point, and they handle it like incredibly well. And I
Yeah.
know there's like another episode where I think like Zoe is starting to date somebody, but then it turns out he only dates like white girls, and Zoe has a hard time realizing that. And so like her friends are like trying to help her through these like racial issues, and I'm like, damn, like it's good TV.
Oh yeah, the Proud Family has always been great.
Yeah,
Because they did that episode where they did the child swap where she stayed with a Muslim family.
yeah, that was really
Yeah.
good.
So like that, but see again, children's TV can be well written and well and
Yep,
tackle issues.
yep,
This just felt weird. Like, the thing is, like, I know because the the actors Casey and Derek, they were producers on this.
yeah.
So like neither of them has really been doing much. So I understand. They're like, all right, we can jump on the nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
Let's try and reboot the series. And they were like, okay, we'll do a movie. So I feel like, but I don't think either of them are writers.
I don't think so either.
I think they probably pitched a bunch of ideas, but neither of them are writers. And then, like, when you don't have a lot of budget, you can't hire top tier writers. And unfortunately, people are like, if you find good writers, like, you can't feed you can't feed your family with experience and oh god, what's the word? Exposure.
Yeah.
So they probably didn't have top tier writers, and the two of them probably wrote like a lot of it. And I think that's why it's so disjointed because
Yeah.
neither of them are definitely writers.
Well, and a lot
And
of the kids too, like this was their first film credit.
mhm.
So again, like they're new to this, but it didn't do the original the original property justice. It
Mhm.
just it, it was not it.
Yeah.
It was not it.
No. So I was disappointed. I wanted like the thing is like I went into it wanting to enjoy it.
Yeah, like I went into it being like, absolutely, let's watch this. I'm curious as to how they're
Mhm.
gonna age up Casey and Derek. Like they're still the same. They do their weird
Mhm.
little like sibling fights. There's no weird tension in the movie with them,
Oh,
which is
thank
really
God.
good.
Yeah.
They try to do a little cousin tension, but it did not work at all.
No, it was weird.
It was really weird.
Oh my god,
So
like you okay, so here's the thing. So we all know in books and like movies they have the trope where one character, they fall, they hurt themselves. Oh no, you're bleeding and you do the rip off the bottom of your shirt and then
yeah,
you tie it around and it's like a sexy moment. So she falls and she falls like down like rolls down a hill
yeah,
and like
she
crashes.
tumbles.
Oh,
She
it goes hard.
tumbles.
And then he goes, "Oh," and he's like, "You're bleeding." He takes off his jacket and tries to turn it into a tourniquet. And that thing was way too fucking big. It was ridiculous. And they like
Yeah.
and that moment where he's tying it was weird and I was like, "No, please don't make this sexual tension," but it was so awkward. Thankfully, there was no sexual tension, but it was just weird.
Yeah, it was just he literally took his whole jacket and wrapped it around her leg, and I was so sitting there like, dude, that's not no. You
No.
rip your jacket.
Yeah. Or like take your shirt off, which obviously we didn't want to see a teenager
No,
take the
absolutely not.
shirt off. But like in real life, what you would have done is take your shirt off, you put your jacket on,
Yeah,
and then use your t-shirt because that makes more sense because that's fabric that's probably cotton, which is better for that. No, and it was like a track jacket too.
it was. It's not the smartest choice. I understand. Look, desperate times call for desperate measures, but I think the desperation, uh, it's not great. Just
No. Ugh, it was yeah. It was as we said, Harry Styles said it best. It was the movie.
yeah, the one thing about this movie. Honestly, this wasn't a movie though. It was a
No,
it was a TV show.
it was a pilot that went too long.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
So it was, yeah, it was something because it was like a made for TV movie because they obviously had like the clear when you knew they were going to commercial.
yeah.
Um,
And at the
but
end, when they did like the reunion of Derek's band and like Derek and Casey are singing the "It said it was over but wasn't over," then like Luca and Skylar then do another rendition of that, trying to like
mhm.
set it up for the next generation. And they were like low key being like, "Oh, maybe a TV show." And we
Eh,
both like finished the movie going, "Sweetie, no."
sweetie, no, you're not getting a TV
Yeah,
show.
sweetie, I don't think so.
No, like no,
No.
no. But yeah, it was a movie we watched. We thought we would share. I think if you're gonna make a reboot, you got to do it well, or it just seems like a stupid cash grab.
Yeah,
And I don't think this was not a cash grab because I don't think they made any money. I think this was them trying to like reboot their careers and it did not work.
no. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
No.
But on that note,
Maybe we'll get a I don't know. There apparently was 8 seasons of The Last Step.
oh, there was 8 seasons.
Yeah, there was 8 seasons of The Last Step. So I was like, maybe we'll get like a reboot of that. No.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So, before we end it cuz I feel like feel like it might be time to wrap this up.
Mm-hmm.
So one fun fact about me is, like I said, one of my things I'm very interested in is movie and TV, and I know which actors in things, and I watch things. I go, where have I seen you before? So I'm watching The Last of Us,
Uh-huh.
and it's the episode with Sam and Henry.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to spoil it, but The Last of Us is really good and also devastating.
Yes.
But I'm like, why does Henry look familiar? It was it. So I think it's called The Next Step.
Was I calling it something else?
Yeah, The
Oh.
Last Step.
Oh,
Yeah,
oops.
but he was
That's the
in
next
the
step.
he was a dancer in The Next Step, and like The Next Step was like this weird like mockumentary about a dance studio,
Yep.
and like I was like, oh, that's you, and I was like, well, he has come a far way. He has grown his career.
Yep. Oh my God, the show is still going on.
Oh, it's
It started in 2013.
I
And
graduated
it's
high school in 2013.
gross.
I know, right? So that's 10 years.
Yeah, it's still going on. It was on Family Channel till 2019. And then there was a YouTube special. And then
Oh.
it was on CBC Gem. And now it's on YTV. So it's kind of crazy.
Oh wow.
Yeah. To teach their own. Yeah, if you look at like the promotional posters for the next step, Henry's on them.
Yeah. Well, Amy, you have a month. You canceled your free trial. You better watch those 8 seasons.
We're gonna be able to see Henry do his like
Pirouettes.
Pirouettes. I'm pretty sure that was like what he was known for. Was like he could do like 4 spins.
Something like that.
Yeah, I feel like I remember that. God,
Ugh.
I'll just watch all the old Canadian TV shows.
Oh yeah.
So all the Teletoon ones are already on Prime.
Well, it makes sense. Like
Yeah.
The Last of Us is shot in Canada. He's Canadian.
Yeah.
But
He's-
like that's the thing watching like Canadian stuff, because like we've talked about this in the past. If something's shot in Canada, you have to have a certain amount of Canadian actors. But like kind of the same Canadian actors will like you can tell who's like an Eastern Canadian actor and who's a Western Canadian actor.
For sure. Yeah.
So I mean, he did go all the way to Alberta, and he's technically an Eastern Canadian actor.
I mean, maybe he lives out like in Vancouver now. We don't know.
Or no, or maybe he lives in California. Like
We don't know.
if you actually want to make a career out of yourself, you end up having to move to California.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
but good for him. Good for him.
Oh yeah, good for him. He was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Ah.
anyway, to wrap the episode up, R.I.P. Teletoon, you will be missed. R.I.P. Pour one out for Total Drama Island. Although I think that was picked up by Cartoon Network. So
Oh, that was, yeah, because Total Drama Island is just fantastic.
oh, it's so
That's
good.
Fantastically weird. And like,
Yeah.
oh, I loved it as a kid.
Yeah.
But like Teletoon, you know, you gave us such hits as Angela Anaconda.
I really liked Angela Anaconda.
16, Total Drama Island, Johnny Test.
Totally Spies.
Yes, Totally Spies.
Cannot forget that.
Absolutely. Oh, I love Totally Spies as a kid.
Brace Face. That show made me terrified to get braces
Oh,
as I
that
was
was-
older.
Yeah. Okay. Last question for you, Amy. Before I make you do the outro.
'Kay.
As a little Canadian girl,
Mm.
you and your friends,
Mm-hmm.
when you played Totally Spies,
Mm.
which one were you?
Oh, I was Alex.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I-
I loved Alex.
See, the thing was like I fought against my nature so hard when I was young because I wanted to be Sam because Sam was the smart one.
Mm.
So I wanted to be Sam, even though we all know I'm Clover.
Yeah, you're Clover, sweetie.
I wanted to argue with my nature so badly, but yeah, I was like, I'm gonna be Sam because I'm the smart one and I'm the leader.
There's nothing wrong with being Clover. We love Clover.
We do love Clover.
Yeah.
She the best.
I never thought I was like cool enough to be like Clover. And maybe this also should have been a sign, but like I thought that like her being boy crazy was a little like, I was like, that's too much. I liked Alex because she was like sporty and like just kind of there. Plus she was the one who was like kind of always getting kidnapped, and I was like, that would be me. I would always be the one accidentally doing something I'm not supposed to do. And I was not smart enough to be Sam.
Every episode we find out the closet door was made out of glass even more.
We really do. I did like Clover though, because like she was really into fashion and that's what I liked.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was a little bit, yeah. I liked, yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
But yes, maybe. Well, I guess we'll see if Life with Luca will go anywhere. Probably not.
Probably not, but you never know.
You never know.
Far worse shows have gotten far more money.
Truly.
Okay, Amy.
Trip down memory lane. Canadian memory lane.
Yeehaw. Now give us the outro.
Thank you guys so much for listening this week. I hope you enjoyed our descent into, I don't want to say terrible Canadian media, because that's not fair. We have gems. We listed some of them.
Yeah.
But into some old Canadian media that we all grew up with, and I'm glad that the weird family incest was a North American thing. Look, I felt weird. I literally asked Becca. I was like, "You watch this show, right?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Oh, so you know that like their relationship was kind of odd?" And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, good. This is not like something I have to overly explain."
Yeah.
But you can find us on most podcast streaming platforms. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Google Podcasts, we're on Anchor. You can also find us on YouTube at Can You Take My Shift? That's where you'll find these video recordings. And if you give us a subscribe and like over there, we'd really appreciate it. You can find us on social media, on Twitter at CYTMS Podcast, and on Instagram and Facebook at Can You Take My Shift? You can find Kelsey at Kelsey Peets on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. And you can find me, Shelly Amy, at that on Instagram, TikTok, or Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch as well. So until next time, Kelsey, can you take my shift?
Derek, you are the most annoying brother.
Step brother.
Same difference.
Yeah, you're right.
The music makes it so much worse. The music makes it so much worse. I hate it here. All right, we can go now.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.